U.S. economy just took a very dark turn. Michael Snyder on Economic Collapse blog reports. The road ahead certainly does not look promising. For much of 2022, there has been a lot of debate about whether or not the U.S. economy is in a recession, is headed for a recession, or is about to turn in a positive direction. Unfortunately, virtually all of the numbers are now telling us that economic conditions are starting to deteriorate quite rapidly as we approach the beginning of 2023. And even rabidly optimistic business leaders such as Jeff Bezos are warning us to prepare for harder times. So now the framework for the debate over our economic future has shifted. At this point, there are some that expect a relatively minor recession and then a recovery, and then there are those such as myself that expect immense pain in the years ahead. There are so many warning signs that indicate that the entire system is starting to crack and crumble, but a lot of the experts are still hoping that our leaders will find a way to turn things around somehow. On Wednesday, those of us that closely watched the economic numbers received quite a shock. The latest figure of the Chicago Purchasing Managers Index came in way, way below expectations, and that is really bad news. If you're not familiar with the Chicago PMI, here's a pretty good definition. The Chicago Purchasers Managers Index, PMI, determines the economic health of the manufacturing sector in Chicago region. A reading above 50 indicates expansion of the manufacturing sector. A reading below indicates contraction. The Chicago PMI can be of some help in forecasting the ISM manufacturing PMI. Economists were expecting the survey to come in around 47, but instead the final number came in at just a very disastrous 37.2. In a massive downside surprise, the Chicago PMI survey just printed 37.2 versus 47 expectations, plunging it to its lowest level since the peak of the COVID lockdown in 2020. This was below the lowest estimate of 25 economists surveyed. In the entire history of the survey, the Chicago PMI has only plunged below 40 during times when the U.S. economy has been in a recession. Other data points are also telling us that the U.S. economy is clearly trending in the wrong direction. Consumer confidence has declined for 2 months in a row. U.S. home prices have now fallen for 3 months in a row. Existing home sales have now dropped for 9 months in a row. The housing industry has not been in this much of a mess since the last housing crash. According to the NAR, home sales were way down all over the nation last month. From a year ago, all 4 regions had double-digit declines in sales in October. The West had the most significant dip at 37.5%, followed by the South, which fell 27.2%. The Midwest decreased by 25.5%, followed by Northeast down 23%. And if the Federal Reserve continues to hike interest rates, things are only going to get worse. Which is trying to integrate the legacy Warner Media business like CNN and the Discovery businesses. In a memo Wednesday morning, CNN CEO Chris Licht wrote that the channel will inform paid contributors Wednesday as part of a new reporting strategy, with full-time employees being informed of their status on Thursday. I don't wish ill on anyone, but the truth is that CNN brought this on themselves. CNN has lied over and over again in recent years, and those lies have deeply hurt millions upon millions of people. Elsewhere, the stunning layoffs in the tech industry just continue to accelerate. On Wednesday, DoorDash announced that it would be eliminating approximately 1,250 corporate jobs. DoorDash on Wednesday said it will lay off about 1,250 corporate employees after growing its team too quickly during the pandemic, making it the latest tech company to cut staff in recent weeks. The cut represents about 6% of DoorDash's staff, according to a company spokesperson. Just within the past few weeks, we have seen so many prominent tech companies lay off workers. In fact, CNBC is reporting that over 50,000 tech workers lost their jobs during the month of November alone. Within weeks, mass layoffs primarily in tech, including at Twitter, Meta, Amazon, Salesforce, HP, Lyft, DoorDash, and more, have flooded headlines. More than 50,000 workers in each tech lost their jobs in November, up from 12,600 in October, according to Layoffs FYI. Sadly, most American workers are not in a position to handle a job loss. As the Republicans in the House of Representatives recently noted, more than 60% of the country is currently living paycheck to paycheck. Over 60% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck in Joe Biden's economy. Nearly 40% of workers are considering a second job to stay afloat. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, it can be extremely difficult to keep paying the bills once you lose a job. And in the months ahead, we're going to see many more people suddenly get the axe. Our leaders have pursued policies that have made the coming economic nightmare inevitable, and now we're all going to pay a very great price for their foolishness. It's here finally, Michael's new book entitled End Times, now available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. About the author, he says, my name is Michael Schneider, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing, and one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely, happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times, and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge that you invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. And this is by Michael Schneider on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.